What is up, my Lorcana goons, and welcome back to the Quest with a Guest podcast. My name is Kevin. You're watching the Lorcana Goons channel. Every week, we sit down with a fellow Illumineer and get to know them a little bit more so we can really deep dive ourselves into the game of Lorcana, especially on a competitive level. This week, we have Jonathan Rosario, who made day 2 at the DLC Vegas with Blurple. He was the only Blurple in Top Cut, and then a couple weeks later, he goes on to win his local set championship with Blurple once again. So in my eyes, he is a certified Blurple master, the SoCal Blurple champion. He is a co-captain of the team called Quest Kids. You may have seen them around the Southern California area or even at the DLCs. He's going to break down his deck that he used a couple weeks ago for the DLC, talk about DLC Seattle and how he would play the deck still, and we're going to play a game using Blurple against Zach Stone so we can talk about our mulligans and talk about the lines of play that you want to do when playing this deck. So if you're a fellow Blurple enjoyer, or if you want to prepare against this deck for your local tournament, be sure to stay tuned to Lorcana Goons for more. What is up, my Lorcana Goons, and welcome back to the Quest with a Guest podcast. My name is Kevin. We're joined with my co-host, Zach Stone, and this week we're going to sit down with Top 64, John the Ranger from Team Quest Kids, who finished in Top 64 of the DLC Vegas, making it day 2 with Blue Purple, the only Blurple in Top Cut, actually. So this is going to be an awesome episode. We get to sit down and get behind the mind of one of the only like anti-meta decks in all of Top Cut. John, you want to introduce yourself?
What's up? John Rosario, also known as John the Ranger, co-captain of the Quest Kids.
That's right. Jonathan Rosario actually hangs out in our testing circle. Actually, pretty cool to have some local friends finishing day 2 of the DLC. We had Hector, like I said, two episodes ago, which is really cool. John actually stays with us in most of the events. Not Vegas necessarily, because we all kind of did our own thing. But for the most part, at Texas and Atlanta, we were all staying together, which was really cool. So that was really fun. So out of all the decks you could have picked, you ended up going with Blurple. It's not the first time I've seen you pick like an anti-meta deck either, though. But why did you decide to pick Blue Purple, bro?
I don't even know myself, to be honest. I've always played anti-meta lists. Set 1, I played Ruby Amber, like mid-range evasive. Set 2, I played Green Fossa. Set 3, played Amethyst Steel. Set 4, I didn't really like Set 4 meta like at all, but I tried playing Blue Steel in Texas, and that just did not fare well for me because I didn't really practice with it. And then Set 5, playing Blurple. I like the anti-meta list. I like throwing people off. I played Red Purple like Set 1 and Steel Song when that list came out, but
So like I know that having like an anti-meta strategy can help you a lot in these tournaments, especially because it is a 2-game format. Maybe your opponent might not know what exactly you're playing. Zach, I know that you actually had to play Jonathan Rosario during the Swiss rounds of the DLC. How did that go, guys?
it was awful. Zach whooped my butt.
Let me just preface this by saying, like, I have a little joke when I play against anybody I know and they keep their hand. And I always look at them and I tell them, you better win, because that just tells me that they have, their 1%, in my opinion, in their hand ready to go. And two, like there I feel like there's very little like reasons to want to keep every card. Like, you can justify like putting away one card because you don't want to have to ink it this early. There's some points there, but I just remember that, at the same time that round when we had to play, we had 2 other friends of ours playing at the same time, and Mike wasn't too far, the captain of your team, and he just kept laughing at you. And our match ended. I got up. He looks at me. He goes. He looks at me. He goes 1-1. I go, and he just goes like starts laughing and cracking up.
And it was my only loss the rest of the day.
And you made sure that was it, and that was the only L you would take until the next day.
Yeah.
I had unfortunately, we all got knocked out in top 64, man. Like the Goons team members, you, a couple other friends I knew, and yeah, it seemed to be just like one of those events that was like caught so many people off guard. Like Green Steel came out of nowhere, and there was plenty other matchups that I feel like could have like been in the top cut as if they fell short based off tiebreakers. I know we saw a green blue deck make 65th place. So
Yeah.
John, do you want to talk about your matchups and how some of those games went? And
Sure.
you can skip our round 5 if you'd like. We know the results there.
Let me pull up because I did write it down. But yeah, I do want to say like a week. I've already told this story twice in the 2 like deck profiles I did, but I'll tell it again. A week before the event, the whole Quest Kids team met up with some friends, and I still did not know what I was playing. I remember I was texting you, Zach. I was like, "Dude, are you like? Do you know what you're playing? I don't know what I'm playing." And I was like really thinking about playing Steel Song because I don't know. I don't know what I was playing. So I know Mike is a notorious control player. He's been playing Red Blue like the last 3 sets now. And I just love getting under Mike's skin. So what do I do for our testing, which should be like pinnacle testing? I bring a really, really weird Steel Song aggro, like with like Sven and a Revive. And man, I'm forgetting his name, but he's a 1/5 or a 0/5 3-cost steel card. Like if he has no damage, you quest with 3.
Oh yeah. It's
I
the
think he's fun. And then I also bring like a Amethyst Steel aggro. Of course, I just do it to play against Mike to like make him mad, and then he like gives me a pep talk. Just he wants the best for me. He wants the best for the team. He wants to see us perform well. So he's just like, dude, play meta deck. You have a week left. Figure it out. Like I want to see all of us top. And I'm like, yeah, I hear you. And then I really want to play Amethyst Steel. Those are like my favorite colors, but I just know those colors aren't going to perform well. Monday, I see my girlfriend. I don't think we end up playing anything, but I put the list together. No. Tuesday, I put the list together, and then still haven't practiced it. The only like kind of practice I'm getting is I'm on Ink Table playing against the computer while I'm at work. I'm literally on my phone playing bots, just getting a feel for like the plays and just feeling it in my hands. And then Wednesday I don't play. Thursday I see my girlfriend again. She plays Steel Song, so that was the only kind of practice I got. I think we played like 3 games, and then Friday we left to Vegas, and then here comes the tournament. This is like my first time really playing the deck, and I performed well. It's just a list that fits my play style. I do well with anti-meta lists. I do well with like mid-range tempo lists. My history of TCGs, like I've just always done better with mid-rangey like tempo. But to my matchups for the day, round 1, I played against Ruby Amethyst. I don't exactly remember what went wrong in game 2, but we ended up finishing 1-1. Actually, no. In game 2, he got the Flynn out, and I just couldn't find my Elsa 5th Spirit, and I think he got like 9 lore off the Flynn, and I just couldn't recover. Round 2, I played Steel Song, and I won 2-0. Round 3, I played Red Blue. I go 1-1. Round 4, I play Red Blue again, and then I win 2-0. And that was the King Candy version with like Blue Queen and some other fun stuff. And I was like, oh man, I don't even know what's going on, but I figured it out. Round 5, I don't really remember what happened round 5. So, but I lost. Round 6, or that was lunch. So then we get back. No. When was lunch? After round 3?
I think it was after round
round
4.
3.
Round 3.
Oh, I'm tripping. Round 6, it was Amber Amethyst aggro, and I was so looking forward to playing an aggro deck all day. And my cogs and my elephants just put in work, and I won 2-0. Emerald Amethyst tempo, which is a somewhat favorable matchup, and I won 2-0. Played against Red Blue again. I played a local player that I see at Cyclone. I can't remember his name, but I beat him 2-0, and he's a good player. So I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a hard game. And then in round 9, Amethyst Steel mid range, and that's also any mid range or aggro I'm gonna have a good time with. So yeah.
Okay. And I'm looking at your list, and I imagine that the amount of willpower on your characters is kind of what sways that in your favor. Like a lot of the characters in your deck have 3 willpower or more. The Mickeys, the Elephants, and even the Cuscos, the Hades, and the Yzmas. What were some cards that kind of stood out to you throughout the tournament, and what cards would you maybe changed out or taken out?
Um, Hades put in so much work. Eh, People that like check out my list, I opted not to run Mufasa with my ink table testing. Every time I played Mufasa, it was just like I was already way ahead, or he just wasn't doing enough. And the original list was running 2. I cut it down to 1, and then I cut it down to 0. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do 3 Hades and 3 Elsa. For Seattle, I think I'm gonna run 4 Hades. It just put in the only reason I was probably able to win Red Blue was because I was playing Hades on their Flavor Sham. Um, the only card that I can see myself like completely cutting would be Yzma. She probably helped like twice in a pinch, but now that Green Steel is going to be more prevalent, I think I need to run. I'm going to test with the 7-drop Ana that exerts all characters,
That card's
and
cool.
then also Peter Pan. Not or I mean either or Shadow or the 3-drop.
The Shadow Finder.
Yeah, Shadow Finder. So those are the only 2 additions I think I need to make. I can probably cut a crab. With the amount of Emerald Steel, I have a feeling aggro is going to be less, so I can probably cut Elephant. Yeah, that's. I think that's all the changes I would make.
Okay, so you do plan on taking it to Seattle then. You're pretty confident of this deck going into a more Emerald Steel meta. I like these cards into Steel cards. Like I said, like cards like Elephant exist and they punish Steel players for having or AoE, and that doesn't necessarily banish everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just more worried about Prince John and Muse. Um, I'm also thinking about running the 2-drop Pinocchio for Ursula,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just need to do the testing. I haven't done any testing since I got back. I have played the Emerald Steel list, but not like my list against Emerald Steel.
The Ana I do like into the more Emerald meta for sure.
Mhm.
I remember kind of like not building it in person, but just kind of building a deck like similar to this. And things that I kind of wanted, or at least I found myself playing, was I maxed out on the copies of Mickey's, I maxed out on the Donald Ducks. I was just trying to aggressively ramp, and I noticed that those are cards that you actually don't max out on. Did you ever see yourself needing more ramp, or were you playing off of like the tempo and you just wanted more like solid characters to play on turns 3s, 4s, and 5s rather than just to ramp up?
No, it was the perfect amount of ramp. It's only 3 Mickey instead of 4. The 4 T-pos are obviously mandatory, and 2 Donalds. Because I'm running 4 Snake, 4 Fox, and 2 Elephant, if I needed to, I could bounce the Mickey, I could bounce the T-po, and it's like I have unlimited amounts of ramp anyway. Um, I think my list had the perfect amount of ramp. Yeah, I wouldn't add more. I could see myself taking away a Mickey just so the uninkable count stays the same if I want to add in the Shadow Finder. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay, yeah, I like that. And I like how you said if you need to bounce for the ramp. I was under the impression that that's like the play you always do is you always Mickey bounce, Mickey play again. But no, right now we are kind of in a more tempo driven format. It's not about doing like fancy combo plays. Sometimes it's just about keeping control of the board. And I like this deck into that kind of format, especially because you don't really get like hit by Be Prepared like the same way because you have such good recovery cards like Rabbit Friends, Rabbit Bounce, etc. How often does a card like Cusco go off? Like being able to being able to move locations into the inkwell.
Cusco's only really good for Ruby Am for Castle, and
Mm,
then for Red Blue for Dime. Like
okay.
I just got and what no cussing. What screwed me over for my game 3? I mean, not only did I brick, like I had to mulligan my entire hand, and then it was Yzma, Hades, Elsa. Uh, Man, once I once I saw those cards, my brain went like a grenade went off in my mind, and I just saw white. But I had gone the Cusco. I think there was a Cusco in my opening hand too. And in his list was only running one Emerald Chronomicon and one Ana. And he saw both of them in game 2. And then in game 3, I get the Cusco early on, probably like turn 4, I get it. And I'm just like, you know what? I think I need to risk it and not hold on to it. And the odds of him getting Emerald Chronomicon again is so low. And I inked it. And then like 3 turns later, he threw it out. And I was like, and it just the tempo was too much. Like that list is a favorable matchup. I have so much tempo on my list, but when that item is out, it's like it's game over. But yeah, Cusco's really only good for Dime. Like you just hold it until Dime comes out.
Okay, so that was your top cup match was against Green Purple. Yeah, okay. Emerald Chromicon, yes, a very interesting card, and one of them is in Lorcana. Yeah, sometimes they see them, you gotta respect it. Especially if you're doing open deck lists, you know it's possible. You know it can come down. So maybe you take out the Yzmas and you throw in a third Cusco. Your Hideaway. I like Hideaway too. Would you ever play a card like Hideaway in this deck? And what about locations? I see you're only playing 3 library. Was Castle not an option?
In the original list, I believe it was 2 library and 3 castle. Some lists play 2 and 2. I think castle's like slow in this deck. I rather just like throw out the library and toss some characters under there because most of the time, like I don't know, the card draw is there. Like having for rabbit and being able to bounce so much, like I don't need that extra bit of card draw. And the library just has that extra willpower, so it gets over. I was thinking of taking out Yzma for maybe 1 McDuck Manor because library was a problem the entire weekend. But no, I don't think I would add an extra Cusco. Two is perfect enough. Again, with how much bounce I have, it's like I have multiple Cuscos. I could see myself adding a Vision or 2, but not a third Cusco.
Okay, yeah, Visions would be fun. You just dig for the Cusco, right? That's the idea. Yeah. Okay. Nice, man. So you mentioned CCG experience in the past. What other games did you play, man?
Let me get my list out because I had to write a list for this. I was waiting for this.
Wow. Question. Okay. Very experienced gamer over here.
It's an extensive list. So the first CCG I ever played was in 2001. I have to shout out my mom because I would not be into card games or board games. In my living room, I have like 150 plus board games, but I played so many board games with my mom growing up. And the quick backstory: the first movie that my mom brought me to in theaters was the first Harry Potter movie. So in 2001, that's when Harry Potter came out, and then the Harry Potter TCG came out, and that was the first trading card game that we played together.
Wow.
I had no idea what I was doing. The cards looked cool, but it was the first TCG that I played. I played Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! I really just collected the cards and played with like my stepbrother, but we didn't know what we were doing. We definitely weren't playing correctly because I was a huge fan of WWE, so that like took over my life. And then I started playing Magic like seriously in 2011. That was Innistrad block. So I played from 2011 to like 2016. And that's when I think I started playing either 8th grade or freshman year of high school. Stopped playing Magic because I dumped too much money into it. Started playing Hearthstone. So then I was playing Hearthstone. And then I played Eternal, which came out in 2016. And then I dabbled in Gwent. I hated it. Terrible game. I did not play for that long. Keyforge, created by Richard Garfield, the creator of Magic. That was also a fun game. And then Legends of Runeterra, the League of Legends TCG spinoff. Played that for a while. Marvel Snap, and then now Lorcana.
Wow. Okay. So you have a long list and experience of different card games. How do you balance all that? Do you still play them? Any of them? Any of them at all?
No. I mean, I still play Hearthstone Battlegrounds. That's like something I still play from time to time. But yeah, over 20 years of TCG experience is kind of crazy to think about. But I never played. I played Magic and Hearthstone at the same time. But most of these games I never played like simultaneously. It was all because like once you get into one, I mean, most people have a better attention span than I do, but I just can't. I have to like dive into something completely, and then it's like, all right, this is what I'm doing now. But yeah, no, I don't play anything anymore except for Lorcana.
I've played
Lorcana's the
Hearthstone.
best game.
I mean, yeah, it's yeah, Lorcana is the best game. I played Hearthstone Battlegrounds recently. I haven't played Hearthstone in a long time, and my friend was playing Hearthstone Battlegrounds a lot lately. Zach, have you ever played Hearthstone Battlegrounds? I know you played Hearthstone in general.
I did play Hearthstone Battlegrounds. It wasn't something that I got into like right away, but and I think like this was like post COVID. I just gravitated to playing a lot more. Um, for lack of a better term, there was no any other way to play card games besides
Yeah,
through your camera, like how we have to do now to test Lorcana. And I wasn't the biggest fan of doing that, like for competitive tournaments. Like I like doing it when I'm just trying to get some games in the test, and it's very fun. But the battlegrounds game, I I would compare it to like an auto chess, right? And you're
like
basically
team
just
fight
setting up,
tactics.
yeah, you're setting up your field to fight in like a random board, and I think you can play around certain things because you have knowledge of like the heroes that you're playing against. So yeah, the game is totally different than something that is like a like Lorcana itself. But the actual like Hearthstone collectible game, it it's very similar to Lorcana. Like all of the knowledge that I took from Hearthstone, I translated it over to Lorcana. I took very little knowledge that I you know would apply in Yu-Gi-Oh theory, and I don't necessarily apply everything that I get from like every card game. Like Lorcana is its own game, so you have to think about it differently, like fundamentally.
Yeah.
And the inking system is just like, yeah, crazy because you the certain turns, like depending on what you ink, determine the rest of the game you play. And I really like Lorcana for that aspect. You know, like what made you get into Lorcana?
I mean, I wouldn't. I definitely would not consider myself a Disney adult. Not that there's anything wrong with that because I love Disney. But I think I was just like, I think. I mean, I probably would have gravitated towards it anyway. But Marvel Snap was just so draining because don't get me wrong, it's a fun game and I love the Marvel IP, but the way that like I do appreciate that they tried to make something that's like not pay to win, but I was buying the like the battle pass every month and it was just like it didn't feel like I was getting enough bang for my buck. And then like again, I dive into stuff. So I was trying to collect all these variants for cards and then I got so burnt out so quick and then it was like, oh, Disney's making a game. Oh, these cards look pretty fun. And then once I realized it was similar to Hearthstone, like you said, I was like, oh, this is gonna be it. This is gonna get me like back into playing like paper cards.
Yeah, I can see that. I've never played Marvel Snap. I definitely I've played Teamfight Tactics for just to compare it or so. And yeah, some of those online games can be a little draining, and the economies aren't the best for some of them. Master Duel is a good example for Yu-Gi-Oh. I love Yu-Gi-Oh. And if Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel was a little bit better free to play, then I would play it. But it's just impossible to really keep up with it on a free to play level. Duel Links even more. Duel Links is fun as heck, but man, you cannot play that game without spending money, and it's really unfortunate. And then yeah, Zach, you to bring up, we have to remote do everybody now, which you know maybe we'll get a simulator to fix that eventually, so we can have a bunch of events too on the side. Jonathan, you mentioned you're not a Disney adult, but you are a Disney fan. What's your favorite Disney movie?
Oh man, when they make like a power line card, I don't care if it's good or bad. I'm going to center my deck around an eye to eye song card. But I love a goofy movie. I personally think I was having this conversation with Ed actually at the house in Vegas that I think the second movie is better than the first one. Um,
Really, very bold
those are fighting
opinion.
words for some people. I
Very
understand,
bold
but
opinion on this
yeah,
quest
I
with a
know.
guest. Did we get the
Um,
wrong? Did we get the wrong guest, Zach? This.
but I
Hey,
mean,
he's allowed to have his opinion,
yeah,
and honestly, there isn't a movie that's better than the other. I think we all allowed to like what we like.
but since I grew up like acting, doing musicals too, I've seen pretty much every Disney movie that like is a musical pretty much. Um, Finding out through my girlfriend that like there are so many Disney movies that I haven't seen because there's not singing in it. But I mean, obviously the classics, Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and Lion King, all that stuff I loved. But I like when Lorcana came out, I watched Treasure Planet and I was like, how did I miss this movie? And now why did they not make another one? Like it was so good. And I think it's because of the singing. Like most Disney movies that don't have singing in it like fall under the radar, unfortunately. But yeah, there's so many that I can't even think of most of them. But a Goofy movie has always been like one of my favorite Disney movies.
I do like them both. I do like them both. Don't get me wrong. Something about Max going to college and competing in the X Games. I just think they missed the mark by not having singing in the second Goofy movie, which is ironic because you like the singing so much. You know what I mean? So they could have had some awesome.
And the second movie didn't have Roxanne. Like, do you know how hard I was crushing on Roxanne in the first
Same.
movie? Like,
I was like,
even though she's a dog, like, or I mean, I don't know if she's a dog to be honest, but she's
no.
gorgeous. You know what I mean?
I think that was a lot of the childhood crushes from the Goofy movie. It's the big nostalgia there for me too. That's how I am with Big Hero 6. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna figure out a way to add Baymax to my blue green deck or to a blue deck in general. I need to. Because the other Big Hero 6 cards are green characters. So like Honey Lemon and Gogo are green characters, and Hero and Baymax are blue characters. I think Wasabi's also
Fred.
a green character. Fred, see, they're all blue green. You play a blue green deck. It's meant to happen. Bleen, my Bleen supporters, rise up. Next format is our time with Baymax.
And
no, it's glue. You gotta call it the glue deck.
The glue deck. The glue. I've heard glue. I've heard glue.
You're missing it. It's glue.
Glue? How is it? Okay, I guess I could be glue. Glue, goo, grue, boo.
Cause it's gonna hold together because we stick it up with glue.
My deck list on Dreamborn is pretty in Plu because I didn't want to name it Blurple.
Pretty in Plu.
Pretty in Plu.
Plu. I like it. I like Plu. So we're playing Plu, Plue, Jonathan Rosario, day 2 at the DLC Vegas.
Somebody I knew said they called it the bruise deck because it looks like a bruise.
A bruise.
That's good.
The color.
I like that too.
That one's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm more partial to like Trix yogurt. It looks like the berries Trix yogurt.
Honestly, it's what you look when you get like a rainbow energy drink. It's what it looks like when it all mixes together. You know, that's what Blurple is.
People that came up to me with different names, like somebody from a locals that I knew was like, "Dude, you made day 2 with snozberries," and I was like, "What?"
Snozberries, dude. I haven't.
I was like, "Yeah, I guess I did."
That's
okay.
That's funny. I haven't heard snozberries since chapter 1. Shout out, dude TCG on Twitch. I'm pretty sure he's the one that coined that term. That's insane. That's hilarious.
That's funny.
I didn't think anybody still called it that. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other funny names, guys? Leave them in the comments. We'd love to hear what you call the Blurple deck.
Yeah, it's funny, the Blurple deck. I like how we just have like Rubiam, and then we have like Sisu on ice. Is like, ooh, it's like the red blue, and it's all pretty. And then we have just Blurple, and then Emerald Steel. Just nobody wants to deal with it. But yeah, I do want to.
Steel Song is a good name too.
Steel Song is a very good name. Yeah, I like that one. It's very catchy. I think we'll get there. Eventually. I do want to get a game in Jonathan Rosario against Zach Stone. It's our traditional game. So that's how we quest with our guest. Run me through how to play purple. We're gonna play against Zach. And both of you actually all 3 of us have made day 2 out of DLC. I just want to ask real quick before we start, do you have any advice for somebody, maybe getting into competitive play? It might be like their first DLC, second, third, and they're just not quite making it. I know you've gone to other DLCs before, but Vegas was, a good time for you. Do you have any advice for people who are, playing their first DLCs?
You have to play what you're comfortable with. In Atlanta, I missed cut off. Like if I would have won my last round 2-0, I would have made day 2. And then we went 1-1, and I barely missed the bubble for a let it go. Like it was, that hurt a lot. But I played Amethyst Steel in Atlanta, and then in Texas, I was like, man, I guess I'll just play Blue Steel, even though I don't like that deck is not fun to me. And I performed the way I felt on the inside. I went like 7 rounds tying every single round. And playing like an off meta list that you've been playing forever that feels like the reason why it takes me so long to like find a list that I like is because I need to spiritually like you feel it like when you're playing it and you're going through the motions like, oh, this is my list, this feels like comfortable to me. If you find that list that just like clicks for you now against somebody that's been playing like tier 0 meta list like DK for forever and he's like, you know, the arguably the best red blue player, he's probably going to whoop you regardless. But somebody that has been playing a meta list, they're like, they don't know what they're playing, and then a week or two before the event they're like, screw it, I'm just going to play a meta list. You're probably going to beat them even if it's an unfavorable matchup. You know the lines, you know how to play your list, so play something that's comfortable. That's one. And then just like if it's your first one, try to have fun. Don't put too much pressure on it. Because I didn't have any expectations for this list, and I didn't have like the weeks and weeks of testing for it. It allowed me to like, I don't want to say I didn't care because I did care every single round, but it allowed me to give like a feeling of not caring before. Like it's just at the end of the day, it's just a game. You're there to have fun, and every round I was just like, we'll just see what happens. Try not to stress too much about it, and then I kept doing well, and I tried to keep that same energy throughout the day. So as long as you go with like a fun attitude, don't put on too much pressure. Get sleep. Don't sleep with your co-captain that snores throughout the night, and get a good night rest. Stay with friends. Make a vacation out of it. You know, and good thing that they have like all the side events for day 2, because it's like you get to, if you don't do well, you get to show up on day 1, you know, have a taste of what it's like to be competitive, and then you get to have fun and play sealed and play draft and meet all the cool people and exchange and buy all the cool things. And it's a really, really great experience. Anybody like, we have a buddy named Kirk. He collects pins. He doesn't play seriously. This was his first DLC that he went to, and he played Amber Sapphire like a princess deck. And I know he had a lot of fun, and he actually won like one round, and that was like his story to bring home. And like that's like a perfect story for like the average Joe that like only goes to locals and doesn't know what to expect. Like just come bring a fun deck and like have fun, and that's it.
Yeah, you never know what you'll come out with. Yeah, you never know how the day will end up either. You know, I definitely think not putting that pressure on yourself helps a lot.
I think it's important to like go in with zero expectations of how the day is going to go and take each game at one game at a time. Play your best and be as locked in as you can be. And don't let the one tournament result skew your way of thinking. I know most of my friends that play this game a lot that don't see a lot of the results. I just ask them like, would doing well at this event made you a better player? I don't believe that the answer is always yes there. I think that most of us kind of know where we're at skill wise, and it's important to kind of remember that even if you have like bad days, because you also need luck on your side as much as you need to be good. And I say that with like I mean that getting lucky for matchups is also really critical right now in the 2-game format in Disney Lorcana. So I think it's one of the most effective attitudes to have. I personally am not a fan of people that kind of go into tournaments thinking they're always going to do well, always going to win, dominate the event. It does show pretty strongly when players that have this sort of persona do well, because it does kind of like add that mind game factor. But just kind of understanding that like taking the game at one game at a time is also just very important too, even for those kind of players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to get a game in now. Let's
do
go
it.
ahead and load up this tabletop Sims. Zach, what deck are you playing? What color pattern?
Oh, it is green, yellow.
Green, yellow. All right, John. You sit down against green, yellow. We've already won one game. We'll let Zach go first, since we know the matchup and disadvantage, and then we'll see if we can take this away from him. This is our opening
right.
hand.
I am going first, so I will announce the amount of cards I'm mulliganing. Just remember, guys, that is what you have to do. Is on the play, players must announce the amount they're mulliganing.
First turn.
And proceed there. So I'm just gonna put back 5.
Okay.
And
And we opened
yeah.
up Tipo Go, double Rabbit, double Elsa Fitzspirit, and a Madam M Snake. John, what are you thinking when you see a hand like this?
Having Tipo in your opening hand is like mandatory. It's ideal. And then having Rabbit is like what you want to be curving into. So I would keep knowing that we're playing against uh, Emerald Amber. We're keeping Tipo, Rabbit, and one of the fifth spirits, and then we're tossing everything else back.
Okay, okay. I like that. I do strongly believe that Merlin Rabbit is the best card in all of Lorcana. Fifth Spirit is a 5-drop, so that wouldn't have been my first card to keep in hand. But if you're saying that it's like that worth it in this matchup, then
Just because I mean, I don't know if your list is running it, but like if the Diablo is a problem, or just to get over on that aerial, if they have the aerial out, like
okay.
against the tempo decks, Fifth Spirit is one of the best tempo cards, and we're playing it on turn 4 essentially. So
Okay. Okay. Oh, we get to you're right. We get to ramp into it. That's extremely important as well. Totally forgot about that part. Wow,
right.
that's really strong because you get that's a whole turn earlier that you can contest the Diablo with this. Actually, love to see that. Thank you for clarifying that. So we actually saw Mickey Mouse, Detective Snake, and Cusco and Crab off the top. Zach, go ahead and start us off.
All right, guys. I'm gonna ink the big Kita here, and for 1, we will play the Maleficent 5. So I just get to see your hand. Nothing crazy.
All right, show him the goods. There we go. Good hand. Good hand.
No turn 1 play. No
No
turn
turn
1
one.
play. I
Nope.
like that.
No turn
All
one
right.
play. Okay,
I
so
will pass back to the Goons.
draw for turn. Okay, okay. We drew a card, and a 1-drop actually. But do you play this on turn 1? Do you play Cogsworth as a turn 1 play, Jonathan?
You do play it on turn 1.
Mm,
If I'm playing against Steel Song, I'm not worrying about it, but especially because we have the Crab in hand, they have to respect Crab. So you toss the Cog out. So we would ink Cusco here and toss out Cog.
okay.
Because on turn 2, we're playing Tipo anyway. So if we need to, we're going to ink Snake on turn 2. But yeah, you have the Cog out just for that Crab threat.
Okay. And then there's also a world too where you can bounce back the cog later, right?
Yeah.
Nice, nice. I like that. All right, go ahead, Zach Stone.
Yeah, I didn't see any Amber Emerald all day. After I got knocked out, me and my buddy Justin were playing, and I think we played 3 games, and I think I won 2-1 with him playing Amber Emerald. But yeah, it's also a deck that needs to be on the radar for Seattle.
I'm gonna ink the Ursula Deceiver, and then for 2, I will. I mean, I already know your hand, but I need to play this on the board, so we'll look at it again.
Okay.
And I don't get punished here, so I will quest for 1, giving myself the first floor of the game. Go ahead.
All right, we'll draw. I like, by the way, that our deck doesn't play a lot of songs, which is really cool. So there's not very many times where you're gonna get hit by that Ursula outside of you just having a friends early or something. So that's pretty interesting. Very nice deck building there, by the way. Okay, so we want to play this Tipo, you said. What do we ink? I want to get rid of library half the times. I just don't see it happening, but I don't know.
Yeah, early on, especially that we have the rabbit, and then now we can save the snake to bounce rabbit if we need to. We definitely ink library
Okay.
and play Tipo, and then we ink the Mickey.
Ink the Mickey. Don't keep Mickey, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, you know what's
Because
funny? I saw you do this in person too, and I was like, really? Why?
I mean, just looking at our hand is we're gonna be next turn we're for sure playing the rabbit, and then the next turn we're for sure playing Elsa, and then it's like by that point, if Elsa stays alive, we could turn 6 shift Elsa, and then we don't really need that ramp. Mickey is like solely like backup ramp. It does feel good to be able to, if you don't find the Tipo and you happen to have perfect curve Mickey into Donald into a 7-drop into Hades. But Mickey is purely backup ramp.
Okay, okay. I like that. I'm really liking this deck.
And then we just pass.
All right. I'm gonna ink the bare necessities. And for 3, we get to play the good old Johnny boy.
Ooh, John
Prince John.
Silver. I mean Prince John.
Yeah.
Prince Jonathan.
So I'm not a fan of doing anything here. It is imperative for me to just keep my board for Under the Sea potential. Sync together is one of the few ways that this deck kind of like has answers to boards, so I'd rather keep my characters there.
Okay, so here's it gets a little tricky because the obvious answer would be to ink the extra crab we have and then play rabbit so we can possibly bounce with the snake. But specifically in this matchup, since they don't have a direct way to like ping damage, like trades are very important. And since we already have 2 little guys out, crab is like super important in these tempo matchups. But I think to play it safe, we're just gonna ink crab and play rabbit. But there is an argument to keep both crabs because once one comes out, it's like you already got to start respecting it, and they're not expecting the second crab to be out already so soon. But snake is too valuable to. That's good too.
We drew another bounce. How many crabs do you play again?
4.
Ah, okay. So the odds of us drawing another crab are very nice, though. So I can see. I can
Yeah.
see why. Okay, okay. Are we questing at all with our little guys?
No.
Okay, so we're just gonna pass there. Go ahead, Zach.
I mean, you could quest with Tipo, but again, it's like this is you wanna get sufficient trades. I mean, they don't have any. You don't have anything to rush, but it's just nice to hold on to.
All right, ink their necessities, and then for 4, I'm going to play You Have Forgotten Me, aka Dad Blast.
You get rid of. You're for sure getting rid of crab.
Kind of want to get rid of the fox or the snake.
It's between fox and snake. I think we get rid of snake here.
Okay, I think it was snake. Okay.
All right, we draw 1, we draw 2.
Must be nice.
And it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna pass here. I mean, I know Elsa's coming down, but I'd rather not give you the ability just to kill both my characters. Like, Diablo's dead, and that's fine. And
Good call, by the way, game. John. Good call on what we discarded. So what are we trying to hit here? Are we playing Elsa to contest Diablo now, or are we just gonna bounce and draw?
I'm afraid of like just getting like discarding everything that's gonna come out. So I would much rather just like keep the rabbit up and save it. And again, this list is all about tempo. I know Under the Sea is something to be afraid of, but here I would ink Snake and play Elsa, and then target Diablo and get rid of Diablo with Elsa, and then I would quest with Rabbit and Tipo.
Tipo. Okay.
Just to give him more things to think about on this turn, because now we're in like midway through.
Go ahead.
Now that we got a sufficient trade, and we don't have to worry about a Diablo coming down and questing right away. Yeah.
Hey, I like the thought process. Too bad it's no match for my strategy. I'm gonna ink the muses, and then for 5, we're gonna gamble here, but I gotta hit the rabbits.
Okay.
So I will
we draw.
Well, not yet. We gotta resolve Bruno first.
Gotta resolve.
So odd will be on the right hand. For me. Okay, let's goodbye rabbit.
Draw for rabbit. Oh. Sometimes lucky,
and
I guess.
Then I draw for Prince John.
Yep.
Okay. And that's my turn. Go ahead.
Okay. I kind of see it now. You just want to apply pressure as soon as possible. So we just play the rabbit now, right?
Play rabbit. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, didn't want to tell him. Discard rabbit, draw another rabbit.
Um,
Ink
I would.
pass, ink play. I kind of like ink pass. I kind of want to ink Chernobog and pass. Keep this just in case as backup for next turn.
Again, like I'm not worried about like this. The way that you get over on this deck is just like throwing a bunch of stuff out. Under the Sea isn't coming out next turn, so I would ink. This is what I would do. I would ink Fox and play followers,
Okay, yeah,
and then
you're the man. Quest with both.
quest. Yeah, with those two. Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Hey, you're the one that made day 2 with this deck. So yeah, tell me how to play. Yeah, this is.
you are the guest we are questing with.
Sure.
So, yeah, you can lead the charge. Besides, Kevin needs to get some dubs against me. He's lacking right now. But yeah, this is kind of scary. I gotta admit, it's kind of scary.
I can see the strat though. Like I get it,
Uh,
because you're right. They're not. They can't under the CS anytime soon. That's the first thing you think about.
Yeah. And they don't have, they don't have rush. They don't have ways to like.
so I'm gonna ink another big Kita here. It's 2 that I've inked. If you guys have been paying attention, following along, all that jazz. And then I will pay 2 for Sir Hiss. I will pay 4 for the Muses, and this is the best part about Lemon Lime. You just have to play a bunch of characters and say, "Go ahead."
I mean, yeah. It's to play all the characters that have ward, right?
Oh,
Okay.
man.
I've got wards.
So we drew a library.
So,
Couple options
yeah.
here, right? We can go
So
library, Chernobog
that
move.
feels, man, like it feels good to draw that, but like Under the Sea is probably coming out. Things are going to be getting bounced. You could play library, move followers into it, quest with it, draw 2.
Solid play.
Dropping Hades is also a big turn. But again,
If he goes under the sea, it doesn't accomplish anything. I don't think.
but yeah, yeah, it's a hard decision.
All right. So I like the library play because you get to draw 2 cards. And what if you find something that lets you bounce your rabbit?
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's-
That's
yeah,
what
I
I
think
was
that's-
thinking too. Yeah, because like playing Hades doesn't get us where we want to be, and then we'll quest for 1, go to 5, Chernobog library, draw 2. Ooh, cards. Not necessarily what we wanted, but I think it's okay to just quest with everything and move some to the library, right? What do you think?
Like for sure. Sir Hiss is a 3/1.
3/1, yes.
Yeah, we could quest with everything and then toss. Just because of that second card we drew, I feel a little more comfortable questing with everything. And then we put Cog into the library and Rabbit.
Why not Elsa or Tipper?
Elsa's just not gonna die.
You don't eat this turn, right?
No.
Okay.
Not respecting Cricky. Got it.
Definitely not respecting Cricky.
Forgot about Cricky.
He can Cricky. Let
You
him.
can't forget about cards like this if you're attending DLCs, guys. Make sure
Let
you
him
brush up
play
on your card
Cricky.
pool knowledge.
Let him play Cricky. I don't think we could play around Cricky.
Let him play Cricky. He said.
You can't play around Cricky and Under the Sea though in this scenario. Like.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This is a
this
turn.
is probably my only turn. Or my only play this turn. It's kind of disgusting if I'd be honest.
All I know, if he plays Cricky, that means he has to swing with his ward characters.
That means we're gonna ink You're Welcome. And for 3,
You're welcome.
we'll play Prince John, and for 4, we'll play another Dad Blast.
Oh, wow.
Another Dad Blast. That's an interesting name For a card to call the card. Okay, what do you discard here? So we know there wasn't an undersea right off the bat, but he's gonna see 4
Uh,
cards.
for sure, getting rid of Hades because he doesn't really. There's nothing really that's worth targeting right now. And then I think we have to. Man, I don't know. That's kind of tough. I think we have to take out the fifth spirit.
Yeah, there's nothing for us to exert except for Sir Hiss or Ursula. Okay, Zach, go ahead.
Draw 4.
Not he's see, and in this situation too, like on this next turn, if I mean it wouldn't matter actually, but if we would draw into the 7-drop Ana, like I would be able to like come back. So man, I think it's a card that I need to put in this list.
Interesting.
Oh, this is scary. This is scary. Sure. Because I feel like I have to trade. Ugh. Yeah, I just gotta use Sir Hiss to take out Tipo here.
Okay.
I gotta slow the bleed somehow, and I don't want to give you cards by killing anything in the library. So, go ahead.
Go to 10. All right, that's a good sign. No under the sea there. That was a good sign for us, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wanted to draw it.
We just get ignorant, right, John? We just play the rabbit in our hand and
yeah.
Let the petting zoo do its thing, bro. Rabbit, best card in Lorcana. Ooh, there we go. What do we do now?
We ink Tipo.
Ink Tipo. Okay.
And then
move them both.
Toss everything else in the library.
All right, everything to the left of the library is in the library. Little family. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, Zach.
Just go ahead, Zach.
We're in GOAT range. That's what I like to call being at 13 lore. With purple deck, when you have a purple deck and you're at 13 lore, you're in GOAT range. That's why I like this deck, by the way, John. It puts you to GOAT range, and I got to appreciate that.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense to do it in case I challenge something. So for 2, I'm gonna play Painting the Roses red. We'll choose Cogsworth and then the Exerted Rabbit, and we'll draw a card. My Muse's Trigger is in the bag.
In the bag. In the bag.
Yeah, and I think we just want to bounce the Bells.
Everything feels kind of bad, to be honest.
Yeah, but I'd rather get rid of the most expensive thing. So we'll bounce the Elsa.
Okay.
And so now, yeah, this feels bad, but I think I got to pay 5, and we don't talk about Bruno, the readied rabbit.
Okay.
All right, I'll give my nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2.
Okay.
Okay. I get to draw 2 cards.
I get to draw 1 because Rabbit is also in the bag. So there, Double John and Rabbit go in the bag, and returned player has to resolve the bag first, so they draw first.
I'm going to ink my Ursula Deceiver, and now that you drew a card, let me see it.
Bam. Should have played that Ursula Deceiver, bro.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, no, nothing.
I made a small mishap here because I do plan on challenging your Cogsworth, and I should have waited to get more full information. So again, it's a mistake I made, and I'll accept that. But there's no damage I take because you had a 0 strength person.
I'll draw because I was at the library. I'll show you what I drew anyways, just because I'm a good sport. Bam.
Wow. Okay. So I got a quest here. I got a quest here with the rest of my guys because I'm pretty low. I have to influence him to swing and not quest with that rabbit. And I'm not in a good spot based on the cards I have in my hand. So I'll go to 6 and I'll pass back here.
Okay, I'll gain a lore and draw for turn. We just get ignorant, right, bro? Like we're just going for game at this
So
point.
yeah, so we're gonna sing Friends.
Sing, really?
Yeah,
This
just
one lore
because.
is it worth it? Is it important?
Yeah, because we're in goat range anyway, and he didn't care about library.
That's true.
And the cards that we have in our hand are kind of lackluster. Like Rabbit just gets us more stuff, but like there's better. We need our 2 lore stuff, and
Ooh, you're so right.
so,
You know what? He's the expert. He's the expert, guys. This is why he made day 2 with Blurple. Oh, wow. Okay, so now I believe we just follow up on that goat range concept. Go to
yeah,
15 with goat.
and
Play
then yeah,
the
Rabbit.
snake, right?
I mean Snake, yeah,
All right, and you bounce back goat. 16, bam, and
and
then
then
what do you got here?
we you play Cog on Snake.
Give him rush. Probably clear
Yep,
Prince
and
John,
then
right?
yep,
Clear John. And then not worth thinking anything, huh? Nah, we'll just pass.
no, yeah, you just
Yeah,
pass.
we'll just pass. Go ahead. Okay, I like this. I like this. We're very close to
Draw for
lethal. We have cards to
turn.
discard in case we need to. The library's still sticking. We cleared a Prince John, so he has less chances of getting some nonsense.
Ink Kita. I just put this card face down because everything you have I can't really see anyway.
That's funny, yeah. Oops, sorry.
Oh.
Oh man.
And then
Play
I like how
Prince
I
John.
announce the cards I play and you still need to look at them. It's funny.
No, it's because
I'm gonna pay for.
it's because I'm zooming in on them, so you can see it on the screen. So it looks cool.
So we got the
when
muses
you watch the
here.
video. Yep.
And then for 2, I'm gonna play Sudden Chill.
All right. So we'll discard this Mickey. Yeah, I think we'll discard Mickey. It's the least impactful
All
card here.
right.
Draw 2.
So I got some bag triggers. So everything here, muses, Johns, all in the bag. We'll take a John out and draw. Oh, do that. And to do that, take another John out and draw. Okay, now the muses will trigger. Yeah, I guess I've got to bounce back Rabbit, and I got to bounce back the Cogsworth.
Okay.
Oh, I played these ones. Played these 2. I'll swap. I played 2 of those that turn, and I already. Man, that's unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. Couldn't see it. Couldn't find one.
No under the sea for Zach.
1, 2, 3.
Did you?
18.
Oh wait,
His goat bounce.
I get to draw for the rabbit, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So all right, I'm
Oh.
always questing with this.
What?
I'm always questing with this. I play around 17.
Honestly,
18,
Zach, I think
yeah,
I think the only way you win. I think you're overthinking it. I think the only way you win is if you quest with everything and just hope I don't like kill you.
Yeah, so we quest with that. And then 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Still not enough. I know I need the long game because I need another turn, unfortunately. I got to trade. And then.
Oh, you traded
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so you go to 18 pass or what?
Passed, yes, because I played these 2.
There we go. Bro taking the turn and he's just for me to play goat bounce again, bro. Come on.
So yeah,
Getting a
So
lore
you
for
go to
library,
18.
getting a lore for goat.
Yeah.
Ban this bounce. Go to 19.
You're at 19.
And then
Yeah.
I'll just pass. See, you taking up everybody's time
You
for
don't-
that, bro.
You don't want to kill John or the rat or the fox?
Definitely don't need to kill nothing. You can't shift anything. You can't go to 20. That doesn't matter.
well,
All right, let's see if I can discard his whole hand and punish him.
You can't
Get rid of his whole board.
You cannot discard my whole hand. And that's another reason why I don't hit with the fox, because if for whatever reason you go like Bruno and hit the one goat out of my hand, then at least this. I mean, realistically, I should probably like maybe play this, but I don't know.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, there's no way for him to win. I in my head, I was playing Go, inking elephant, playing Cog on go to take out Muse, and then bouncing would go taking out the Prince John with Fox, and then just like for extra insurance. I mean, I know there's no way for him to win
See
anyway.
that's our top 64 day 2 Blurple player right there, going in hot. All right, well, I got nothing. If I quest with everything, I don't go to 20, and that's how the cookie crumbles, everybody.
Ooh.
So
What do you had? What was in your hand? Emerald Chromacon. Yeah, you just needed Under the Sea, and then that would have been a different game. This deck is crazy, but like Under the Sea is like such a disgusting card sometimes. I was
see,
terrified he was
all I
gonna use
needed
it
to
on
do was
us.
find. I needed to find one of those. I needed to find another action to discard for Diablo. It was one of those games that you just don't seem to get everything going.
All right, thanks again, Jonathan Rosario, for teaching me how to cook Zach with
My hair
blue.
got messed up from that. Oh
He was
man.
sweating. We had Zach sweating on that one. He was big think, bro. You saw him. He was like he was big think every turn, bro. That was one of the longer ones we've had this time around. We really had him on his toes. But blue purple definitely a threat to the meta. I can see how you were able to shut down a lot of the current strategies. You have a lot of floaters against B prep. You have the new Elsa in your deck to deal with Diablo, and the fact that you can go Tipo into Elsa a turn earlier, just I feel like that's extra security against any Diablo deck right now. Going into this Emerald Steel Seattle DLC, you're pretty confident you're gonna take this deck. What are you looking forward to the most going into Seattle?
Getting my get back and going further than I did in Vegas. But I mean, I'm just looking forward to the final one. I hope they go all out. I know there's been a lot of discourse on like the European DLCs getting like better stuff than us. But you know, like the set that they have with like
Oh
the
yeah,
Illuminary.
they have
I
an
want to take
actual.
pictures in that thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want more. I hope they go like super all out for this last one. I hope that they announce what the last chance qualifiers will be like there at the DLC. But I'm just looking forward to this green steel meta. I'm looking forward to like solving the puzzle piece that is that list. I think the changes I plan on making are going to fare well. Like with the Shadow Finder, it's another pesky evasive for decks that already can't deal with evasive. It takes out Diablo. It takes out a Flynn if they're not anticipating the Shadow Finder, and there's no way to take it out. I mean, I feel like advanced players aren't even going to quest with the Flynn, but I mean, like it's there to do that. The Ana's there. The Ana's going to be in there. There might be a McDuck Manor in there. We will see. I'm excited to just tweak the deck and have fun at these DLCs.
Heck yeah, man. We're excited to go to the Seattle with you, the rest of the Quest kids, and all of the Southern California homies. Any final shout outs before we let you go tonight?
Of course, we got to shout out Quest Kids. You can follow us on Instagram at Quest Kids Lorcana. I'm probably gonna make like the first YouTube video for like this deck list and my experience. I say that, and I'm probably not gonna do it, and Mike's gonna yell at me. But I gotta do that. So shout out Steven, shout out Mike, shout out the other Quest kids, Justin and Stephen Butcher. Shout out my girlfriend. She helped me stay patient and sane during Vegas. Shout out the Goons. Shout out SoCal. That's it.
That's right, man. Heck yeah, appreciate the shout out as well. Good luck to everybody going to DLC Seattle or playing a set championship. If you want to play an anti-meta deck, something that's not necessarily like all the deck lists you see online, and you probably can still see results. Definitely. I've always felt that in this meta, and we have some lovely players like Jonathan Rosario here who was able to take a deck like Blurple and be the only person in top 64 of the DLC Vegas in day 2. Jonathan, congrats again. Look forward to seeing the future
Thanks,
of your Lorcana journey. Zach Stone, do you have any final thoughts for us before we call it a day?
Just want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Pristine Protection TCG. They got the best sleeves that I know I'm going to be using for the DLC in Vegas. Mike, the captain of the Quest Kids, always be asking me for a pack every time I fly out. So just make sure to get your guys' sleeves from Pristine Protection TCG and use promo code Goons10 for 10% off your order. It does support the channel. This was Quest with a Guest, the podcast where you can lore for more. And as always, guys, stay tuned to Lorcana Goons. Kevin, anything to say?
Yeah, if you guys also want to support the channel, you can buy a Goon shirt. You know, we don't have any of those lovely Quest Kids jerseys for sale yet or anything. But if you want to rock a Goon shirt and feel like you're part of the Goon squad, you can get those down below in the link description. Once again, thanks again, Jonathan Rosario, for teaching us a little bit about Blurple. I really hope people can take
Thank
something
you.
from this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're a Lorcana Goon, and we'll see you Goons next time.